Hello, my friends. This reading is intended for someone who is feeling lost. I set that intention before I began shuffling, before I even chose the decks. So I asked for clarification on that, and I got the Four of Discs and the Tower, which tells me that you have been desperately trying to hang on to your physical reality, to your money, your house, your job, your vehicle, anything else that you associate with status, especially things that are commonly recognized by the rest of society as forming your status, and you probably thought of it as your identity as well. And the Tower tells me that it's all going away. Maybe it's already gone away, maybe it's in the process of going away. Anyway, you look at it, you're going through a really challenging time. So that's to help you decide whether or not this reading is for you. Now we get to the messages. So your focus, you've had a real focus on toxic mess. I'm sorry. Wow, that was strange. Okay, I was going to say lack mentality. But also you have the Hierophant, which is the status quo. And it could very well be that you have come from a toxic masculinity kind of background. It's very, very common after all. In some places it's worse, but it is very widespread. The bottom two cards, Energy and the Sun in reverse, Energy being the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is about a creative new beginning, having lots of energy to move towards that. But in your case, I see that you are focusing your energy in the wrong direction. You're really still focused on holding on to what was, to your old ways of thinking, your old ways of identifying yourself, your old ways of determining your self-worth, your old ways of living, and all the stuff that you thought brought value to your life and you and who you are. The truth is, the value that you bring to the world comes from within you. And your next cards, the Magician, came out in a block position. The Magician is about, it's about spiritual and physical mastery. The motto is as above, so below. Sorry about the train. All right. So in order to achieve the mastery suggested by the Alchemist is also a card of the Divine Masculine. If you are feeling that you are in a soul connection, and I see that I don't know that you feel that way or not, but if you do, the Magician represents the spiritual masculine, where the Emperor represents the material masculine. So it's in the sideways position. That's how it came out. So it's not in reverse, but it's not in the upright. It looks very unsteady, especially since it's got this lemniscate, the infinity symbol. But it looks like it could tip either way, and probably does on a very, very frequent basis. Okay, so in order to get to this more stable Magician, the upright Magician who has achieved self-mastery, has achieved mastery of the elements, mastery of the self, and has a solid connection with the divine, it's recommended that you go within, that you look within for your inner light. And it won't be easy. We have the Five of Rods or Wands, that indicates a need for a lot of practice. It's a skill that has to be built over time. It's practice, practice, practice. On top of that, we have Judgment and the Eight of Wands. If you haven't already gotten the sense that you are having a spiritual awakening, or that you're being called to have a spiritual awakening, it's coming very soon. Judgment is the card of being called to improve yourself, to ascend. So I think of self-development or self-cultivation as a spiral. So you're going around and around and around from the base of the spiral towards the top. And you are going to hit the same lessons over and over and over again. So if you think of the lessons as lines running down from the top to the bottom, you will run into the same lessons every time you hit the same point on the spiral. No matter how high or low you are, you're going to run into those lessons. And each time you run into those lessons, you can do better. And you can deepen your understanding and develop nuance in your reactions. So the lessons don't go away. You just get better at them. You react to them differently as a more developed person. Anyway, so the other thing about this is, these are cards from my chakra deck. So the Judgment card is from the crown chakra, and representing the crown chakra, and the Eight of Wands is representing the sacral chakra, which has to do with reproduction, but also creativity. So it may be that you are being called to express yourself creatively in some fashion. I don't know what that might be for you. It's going to be different for everybody who's watching this reading. Then we have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is probably who you want to be. He is someone who has mastered the element of fire. So he is creative and warm and caring. But he has control of himself. He doesn't seek to control others because nobody can truly control anybody other than themselves. And he understands that. As does any of the higher level court cards. Again, as an aside, none of these cards represent any particular gender. I may use the words he and she. I try not to because it's misleading. Regardless of the apparent gender on the card, they don't actually refer to a real gender. They just refer to a set of characteristics that we have assigned to the role of feminine or masculine. Then we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups has to do with the will, and it has to do with a sense of disappointment and loss, maybe heartbreak. It's very, very painful. And not, well, you know, you're going through a tower and you're losing a lot, so it's reasonable to expect that you're experiencing heartbreak of some sort. What else do you need to know? This person who is lost, who is having their whole life change beneath their feet. Well, that was predictable. Next up for you is transformation, rebirth. You're going to pass through a doorway and become someone the person you are now won't recognize. This isn't a bad thing. There are people in your life who will disagree, but right now, it seems this is who you are. Seven of Swords, someone who is dishonest. Perhaps, well, I find that people who are dishonest are, well, even people who don't intend to be dishonest. We are all most dishonest with ourselves more than anyone else. But whatever dishonesty you practice, whether with yourself or with others, that you is the cause of your tower. That you is the cause of all this destruction that you are experiencing now. If you want something new, something better, you have to let go of that you and become someone who is honest and has integrity and is most of all true to himself or herself. Any other advice for you? Seek balance. You have to learn how to balance the spiritual and the physical, the material. Embodied spirituality is the best. I don't know any other way to put it. It's not well represented in a lot of religions. Most of them are all about mortification of the flesh, which is not healthy, and it is not what you are being called to do. You are not supposed to give up earthly material pleasures, but you are supposed to balance them with your spiritual needs and spiritual health. I wish you the best of luck.